My lovely sister Veronica asked me if you could provide one piece of parenting advice, what would it be? My one piece of parenting advice would be to keep in mind that one day you will want to have a healthy adult relationship with your child. The way you communicate with your child today is a foundation for how they may choose to communicate with you and others in the future. I'm asking you to extend the same grace to your child that our Heavenly Father has extended to you. In doing this, you and your child will be blessed.
And a piece of parenting advice that I have is to be as honest as you can with your children within proper boundaries, because I think that boundaries are the best thing that we can have in any of our relationships. But also I think that being able to be honest with your children and have the tough and the hard conversations when appropriate, obviously, but having those conversations makes all the difference, especially because growing up and not being able to have those conversations, I've seen it play out in real time where some of my friends have the more strained relationships with their parents because their parents weren't able to share with them and lend their knowledge, or they didn't feel like they could be honest with their parents either. So honesty and transparency within the appropriate limits.
Hey family, so I was asked what piece of parenting advice I would give. For parenting advice, even though I don't have any kids, the most I could probably say is just kids probably know what they're taught and what they're allowed. And that's pretty much all I have as someone who doesn't have kids. Love you all.
Probably don't go wrestling.
Don't go wrestling? Why?
In a wrestling match.
Oh, why?
Because you can knock out all of your team, and then you have to replace every single one with gold.
That's true.
Stacy, if you were to give one piece of parenting advice, what would it be?
That you should let your kids live, because just because your kids are growing up doesn't mean they're not gonna need you, so you need to have the ability to let them grow. You can't keep them in a box forever, and you shouldn't be afraid to let them grow up.
Second question, if you had one piece of parenting advice, what would it be for one piece of parenting advice?
To just try to communicate well with your children and let them know that, through life you'll make mistakes and it's okay, and that you're still loved even at a young age. Even when they do something wrong or you have to discipline them, you still want to circle back and show them love and affection and understanding, so that they don't have a fear that if something happens or tragic in their life or they do something wrong, they don't have a fear for coming to you when it's their best protection and covering.
Thank you. Jada, if you were to give one piece of parenting advice, not necessarily for your own parents, but based off of your life experience and getting to know other people, what would it be?
That's a hard one, because there's a lot. I used to work with kids, so, well, I still do, but just like in a different department. I feel like a lot of people nowadays don't check on their kids as much, and they're they're more worried about like what their kids like are doing and like school-wise, and not like their mental health. I feel like that's important. Like, always check on your kids' mental health and how they're doing. Not just like how their day was at school, or like just kind of everything, like how they feel about everything, I feel like, and just making them feel like comfortable enough to like come and talk to you. Like, don't be too strict, but like, have that medium to where they're comfortable enough to like talk to you about anything. Yeah.
Thank you. Mental health and how they're feeling.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
Okay, what's the question?
If you could give one piece of parenting advice, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I would say to really listen to your kids, because sometimes they might be saying something and they're portraying it in a different light. Just kind of listen to what they're saying, follow their actions, and then that helps you to help them, is how I look at it. So that's what I would say. Listen.
Thank you. Vicky, if you could give one piece of parenting advice, what would it be?
I would definitely say, no matter how old your children are, be there for them and be supportive, no matter what the age, and don't compare your children. If it takes your one child until 18 to master or get there to what they need to get to their goal or destination of what they're trying to do, versus another child getting there at 18 or 24 or 30, let them get there at their pace. I don't pressure my children into achieving goals because their other sibling achieved their goal. Like, if they're not there yet, they're not there yet. But I still support them in helping them get to their goals. But everyone learns and achieves at a different pace. So just be supportive and be patient. They'll get there.
Thank you. Kaylee.
I say just kind of understanding that everybody has their own path, and just because your kids come from you, they have their own path just like you. Just if that makes any sense. A lot of times, like, I feel like parents nowadays, like, I had seen a post and it was like, I respect my kid through every growing stage that they have. So I feel like that kind of comes into play. Like, children or just people go through phases that, like, a lot of people don't understand, or like, I'm holding on to this part of you, and then you grow outside of that or grow beyond that, you know? So like, just understanding that, like, everybody has their own paths, like, and then also looking at your child as a person and not just your child. So I feel like that helps a lot too when it comes to, like, with them experiencing things, because when they come to you for advice, I'm coming to you as a person, not as a parent, or for you to parent me. I just want to think or something like that. You know, like, understanding that they have a life outside of their home, or like a life that, you know, like, they have friends and stuff, and like this little stuff that they might experience in between that. So just like taking that all into account, and then also just being there through every growth phase and accepting their change onto their next phase, as long as it doesn't hurt them or anybody else around them. You know, change is inevitable, so just accepting that change that they're going through.
Thank you. If you could give one piece of parenting advice, not necessarily for your parents, but like when you see other people with children, what would it be?
Make sure you're always looking at your children, because I've had a lot of alerts this weekend about kids that got kidnapped, and make sure they're always like next to you, and make sure they're with you.
That's excellent. Thank you, Mylia.
You're welcome.
Give good parenting advice, what would it be?
I was saying, I like your makeup in your hair.
Makeup in your hair? To your kids? To be nice to your kids. I like that. Thank you. Second question is, if you were going to give one piece of parenting advice.
I would say, like, never put too much pressure on your kids, or like, don't give them like too much responsibility, or their siblings, or doing stuff around the house and stuff like that. It's like, don't put too much pressure or too many responsibilities on them, because like they have other stuff going on with themselves too.
I love them be kids too.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Cherie.
It's okay to let your child do things. I have a boy, so like the running around, the jumping, the screaming, like, you don't always have to be in control, but when it counts,
don't second guess yourself, because I feel like the second guessing yourself when it counts, it doesn't allow you to be able to fully parent. You know, your kids are not listening, but you want to discipline them, and you have to discipline them because it's something that they're going out and doing other places. Don't hold back the discipline or the lesson because you're afraid that you guys might like have a disconnect. Don't hold it back, because like it could like stunt their growth, and then like the lesson you were supposed to be teaching them, they may not learn because we're afraid to give them the stern instead of, you know, like not in place of the love, but just like the discipline is always needed. So don't ever be afraid to discipline your child, because that's where they grow.
Thank you.
If I was to give like parenting advice,
Yeah.
I would say don't stunt your kids' growth. Sometimes they have to, either they're gonna figure it out or they're gonna mess up, make mistakes. So in a way, always be there with them, but don't stunt their growth by trying to control like the way they go. Let them figure it out, because that's gonna make them better. Or either or, they make a mistake or get better. It's always gonna be a good outcome. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna learn from it eventually. So, and then another one is always be there for your kids no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's my life advice as a parent. If I was a parent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, I can't really say for younger kids, but as far as like older kids and stuff like that, just let them be them and let them try to figure stuff out on their own. If they are gonna fall and stuff, help them out and stuff, but don't gotta make our own mistakes and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So we never learn if we don't make our own mistakes and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then we also end up making other mistakes, trying to listen to other people's advice or ideas and stuff like that, you know? Or trying to just do what we want out of emotion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just let them be them and stuff like that. Give them some words of advice. If they don't listen to it, that's them. That's on them. You know?
I like that. Like, let your kids be kids, and they're gonna make mistakes, but to try to help them learn from their mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah, learn from the mistakes, not just trying to stop the mistake, period, because you're not gonna learn nothing from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. If your mom's always snatching your hand off the stove before you touch the stove, you're never gonna know it's hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Jace, if you could give one piece of parenting advice, not necessarily for your parents, but when you look at other parents with their kids, what would it be?
To ask them, can you help me?
Oh, for parents to ask their kids if they can help them? That's a good one. Or do you feel like sometimes parents need help and they don't ask their kids to help them?
Yeah, that's why I help.
So you help, but you'd like it if they asked more often for help? That's a good one. Thank you, Jace.
You're welcome.
Michael.
Yeah, I guess I'd say something along the lines of, as hard as it is to remember, your children learn more from who you are and how you act than anything you'll ever say to them. They emulate your actions, how you respond, the vibe, the spirit that's in the home. And I think there's so many things that you have control over as a parent. It feels often so counterintuitive that you really have to focus on bettering yourself to be the best father, for myself, like the best father I can be. So that means prioritizing my own mental health, making sure I get the sleep that I need, making sure I'm pouring into myself and being poured into in the way that I need, so that I can grow and develop and continue to become a better version of myself, a better and better man, so that as I'm raising my boys, as we're raising our children, they get to benefit from all of those lessons that we learn through the process of growing, right? So that each generation can have a bigger step to step on, so that they can go further, run faster than I did. So So that's my advice, if that makes sense.
Thank you. If you were going to give one piece of parenting advice, what would it be?
With my mom, and nothing much to really say about her. So like, I don't even know.
Aww.
And then my dad, he's good.
He's great. What do you love about your parents?
That they show love to me and they're there for me.
When I need it. That's everything, right? Thank you.
You're welcome.
The second question is if you had one piece of parenting advice that you would give based on your interactions with other people and your own.
Be a better reader.
Be a better reader.
Be a better reader. Yeah. Always reach out to learn new stuff all the time.
That's good advice. Like as a parent?
Yes, as a parent.
Why is that important?
Well, if I'm reading, then my children will read, and I will give them inspiration to just want to learn more.
I like
Just learn more. Because we can never stop learning.
What's your favorite part about being a parent?
My favorite part about being a parent, one, is hard. It's not easy being a parent. And new stuff comes up every day. Yeah, like children are so, it's hard nowadays. They can get into so much stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And social media doesn't make it easy.
Right, because they can see whatever they want, and there's all these other people parenting your child through the media.
Yeah. That's my advice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
To give one piece of parenting advice, what would it be?
Survive.
Survive. Stop.
Because I just got out the water. Okay. Now, what was my question?
If you were to give one piece of great parenting advice, what would it be?
Probably to allow your kids to make their own footsteps and the dreams that you had in the past, not to try to live them through your kids.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You could give one piece of parenting advice, what would it be?
Ooh, well, that's tough. So I don't have kids, so, but I'm a teacher, so looking from that lens, is the one piece of advice is be present. I know that there are some outside factors that might distract us or take our attention, but our children deserve our attention and our presence, and knowing that they are loved, that they are seen and valued. And you can put the phones down, you can put work away for a little bit to just show up for your kid. So.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of learned behavior that kids learn from their parents. But now it's about teaching them good decision-making skills. You teach them how to think things through, how to make good decisions, because what we're facing now is like an uphill challenge with the internet and high school, social media, all of that. So all you can do is try to put into them how to make good decisions. Weigh the pros and cons, and think about their future goals and what's going to contribute to those goals as far as their decision-making goes. Once they understand that, they're able to make good decisions on their own. You did your part as a parent. That's what I think.
And then if you can give one piece of parental advice, what would it be?
Do not underestimate the value of community. You're not the only person that is raising your children. If you're doing that with a spouse, if you're doing that as a single parent, you have so many other people that are pouring into your child, and to be cognizant of who those people are. So that's their, not just your kids' friends, but your children's friends, parents. If your child's going to church and they're going to youth group, the people that are there, their teachers. So it helps set them up for success. I know that cliche saying, like, it takes a village, but it's really true. Parenting is a job and a half, but some of the best advice that I've heard given to my daughter has been through this perspective of someone else, like her cousins, even though I might have tried to say something the same way.
And she didn't take to it.
Yeah, she didn't take to it. It's received differently.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I find in life, when I've done certain things for people or been in certain situations, I've expected people to like reciprocate, because I figure any relationship should be a give and take. And then when I don't get that, then I feel slighted or shorted and stuff like that. But then I have to realize that that's me expecting someone to be like me, and that's why I say you can't expect you from other people.
True. If you were going to give one piece of parenting advice, not necessarily for your parents, but based off of your life experience and interactions with other people, or the way that what you've learned from raising your own children so far, what would it be? One piece of parenting advice.
It would be to give your all to it in the best way that you know how, and to be gentle with yourself. I think a lot of times, like, parenting gets hard when you're too hard on yourself, because it makes you be too hard on the things around you, and the people around you, especially your kids. So if you can just really give it your all and be confident in the fact that you're doing that, then I think it makes it a lot easier to just parent and go through the day-to-day, because it can be overwhelming for a lot of people. So putting in yourself where you're putting it in your head that you're doing your best because you're really trying and really, working towards that, I think helps the process for both you and your child or children.
Thank you.
No.